he's one of those guys that'll be hiring, right? So.
But just to say thank you for having me here as host. Was that also what?
You did
Sure.
that, but she said no problem, and then
I
I said
said
that, like,
yeah.
she said, like,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
So, I think that there's going to be some things that we're never going to get a perfect response every time, right? But you just want to be careful about being too casual is what I think is what you were getting at. And I think that we do tend to get casual. Where we work, that's probably not as much of an issue, right? It's probably not as much of an issue. But where I used to work, it would be an issue, being too casual in the interview process. Doesn't make one company better than the other or worse than the other, but it just means that that's just the expectations are going to be different. So that's why that research and knowing, what you do. So one of the things that's really cool is talk to people. If you want to work at Raytheon, try to find somebody that works there that you know or a friend of somebody. Ask them what it's like. Okay, that's just part of the research process. Sorry about that.
So yeah, some of my hobbies is I enjoy playing volleyball and I love dancing.
No, I play volleyball.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you play on a team?
I do. I play on weekends. Yes.
Yeah, this area is perfect for that.
It
There's
is.
so
The
many
weather
great
is awesome.
courts and the weather's awesome.
Yeah, great. So this civil engineering firm, we have a lot of projects. We're really busy. We work with the city. But I just want to know, why do you want to work for us?
As you know, I've been in the public sector for my whole career as an intern and as a professional.
Oh, awesome.
I saw the opportunity online and I started researching and realized you guys just redid your mission and values, which are in line with my, what I believe in terms of serving the public sector.
Correct.
I want to continue in the public sector. I enjoy giving back to my community, working close with the people, finding out what their needs and concerns are, and working with my fellow colleagues to address those.
You see how she's going into the question? She's making sure she answers it, right? And one of the things that you can also do at the end, once you've answered the question, is ask, is that what you were looking for? Did I answer the question? And make sure you get confirmation. Psychological fact. If you can get people nodding their head and saying yes, they tend to say yes more, right? It's a fact. You get people saying yes. You ever watch a trial, you'll see the lawyer actually doing this, trying to get the jury to do this. Because psychologically, they're starting to agree with them, okay? Whether they know it or not. And that's a big thing. Now, she also did a good job of building rapport, right, around the volleyball. So now, that just takes a little bit of the pressure off. Oh, we can talk about volleyball if we're sitting on the plane for 6 hours, right? That's just something we have in common. Already, there's a match, right? So those are the type of things that you have an opportunity, if you're paying attention, doing active listening, like someone mentioned over here, right?
That's awesome. I see here the sheet you handed me about your project. You were an intern and you worked on a bridge. Can you explain what you did on that bridge? You were designing, it seems like?
Yeah, so we received an active transportation grant and Safe Routes to School
awesome.
project. And so currently there's a creek that runs through this corridor, and students had to go through the creek to get to school. So this project provided the opportunity to install a new bridge and provide that connection. So I was in charge of getting the design team together. That consisted of geotechnicals as well as hydraulic engineers. So we built this team to address the concerns and design the most efficient, cost-effective project that served the intent of the grant.
Great. So one more question. So here at the civil.
All right. So she did a couple things there. She started talking about the situation, right? She talked about what's the situation. She talked about what the task was. We had to build a bridge. She talked about what the action was. We had to put together a team to design it, right? But we didn't get the result. And that's one thing we want to make sure we do, is we talk about, so we were able to design the bridge, and if it was built, whatever, or the funding for the bridge, and it'll be complete in 2 years, just make sure you wrap it all up, right? And now you got the STAR model going, because you always want to make sure that you talk about those things. But she did something that was really, really good there. that you guys might not have picked up on? Go ahead.
Did she show leadership?
She showed leadership. She also showed cross-functional leadership. She led a team of a bunch of different groups of people, right? Lord knows it's much easier to get, if you're a mechanical engineer, to get the other mechanical engineers to fall in line with you, right? But when I got to get the mechanical, and then I got to get the electrical, and the civil, and the software people, that's like herding cats, right? But she was able to do that on this project, and she was able to articulate that to him. In the manager's mind, that's, oh great, she can manage a cross-functional team. That's a big deal, right?
That's awesome. So I see you exhibit leadership. One thing I'm curious about, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Great question. So I'm currently pursuing my civil engineering license.
Okay.
I will be sitting for the test in April.
Good luck.
Thank you. So I hope to achieve that goal, pass my test, and take more leadership courses and to prepare myself to eventually become a supervisor and principal engineer. I really enjoy this area, so I have a lot of close ties. Definitely plan on staying here. In terms of the company, I see that you guys have a lot of projects lined up, and so I am very interested in the type of projects you guys are applying for and would love to participate in those teams.
That's great. So why should we hire you? Why is your personality type fit for us?
So some of my strengths, I did the Myers-Briggs test,
I'm
and
familiar with that.
it's a strengths test that kind of delineates what the different areas. There's 4. Actually, this is wrong. Stop. I threw out something that I've done, but I don't remember enough about it.
It's kind of funny because I'm like a certified Myers-Briggs instructor. I was like, no, that's not, no.
No. Don't do that. If you don't know about it, don't throw it out there. Although I did do it.
Yeah, don't do that. But where I think that you were going, right? Where I think where you were going was that you were going to say that you think that something had something to do with how your personality says that that's the kind of work that would be good for you.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm.
And you know what? I think that you answered it already. I think that you could just reiterate what you did at the beginning when you said, you know, I really enjoy your company's values, right? I really like the, you know, what you guys are focused on, the things you work on. I enjoy working on the public sector. That's something that's important to me, right? When you have somebody who's working on projects that are important to them, you have someone that is engaged. That is what every employer is looking for, is engaged employees. Those people are the people who will give discretionary effort. That means that I don't have to tell you, hey, we need 15 more minutes of your time to get this done. You'll do it because you want to, because you want the company to be successful. That is the definition of engagement. So when stuff is stuff that's important to you in your core, it's important to you as a person, right? Your personal values, that's a home run. And most managers know that. So just reiterate what you said at first. You know, it resonates with my values. I've enjoyed working in the public sector. I plan on working in the public sector. The kind of projects that you guys have in your pipeline are the type of projects I want to work on. I'm continuing to build my skills so that I can lead a company like yours in those projects.
Couldn't have said it any better.
So before we wrap up or anything, a couple more questions. Do you have any salary requirements?
Based on the position that I'm offered and the whole package in terms of benefits, that's negotiable, and I'm definitely willing to talk about that as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely can talk about that. And I guess, yeah, do you have any more questions for me before we wrap up?
I actually do. I jotted some of them down.
Oh, okay,
Don't mind
great.
reading them off. So, in what direction is the agency going? What are your goals, and how would a civil engineer fit into those goals
Yes.
being accomplished?
It's a very good question. So right now, our civil engineering firm wants to put in a program where we give 20% of our time back to the community. So we're still doing engineering work, but through engineering, we want to give 20% of our time, if it's through engineering, community service, back to community, helping them in educating from K through 12, or even going out in awareness for environmental. So that's what we're heading towards.
That's great. I personally love volunteering. I'm part of a couple of organizations in town, and
Oh, awesome.
I volunteer at schools during my lunch on Fridays,
Awesome.
so I look forward to that.
Yeah, any particular organization?
You see what she did there? She did a little jujitsu on him, right? She asked a question that gave her a chance to answer what she wanted to make sure he knew. I volunteer. I participate in these things on my own time. I really enjoy it, right? She got to brag about herself by asking a question. Just a little jujitsu. So that is something that's really, really valuable as a skill. But she wouldn't have been able to do that if she didn't already have knowledge of that, and she wanted to get that out there in her mind. So that's where that being prepared comes in.
Any specific organization you volunteer for?
Yeah, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, there's a professional chapter here in town, and if you'd like to join me, I can invite you to the next meeting.
Oh, definitely, please.
I do have another question as
Okay.
well. What do you like and dislike about working here?
Good question. So what I love about this company is the time, flexibility in time. We definitely have that work-life balance where if you need to get out in the middle of the day to take care of something, we understand. We just suggest that you just put in your hours. We also have, that's what I particularly like. And I guess on the negative side, like every other company, we have the politics, but we're always trying to communicate better, trying to reduce the tiers in management. But I think that's pretty much around all companies. But especially what I do like and I want to reinforce is that work-life balance. And then also we have programs where you can get your master's and PhD, and we'll help sponsor those.
Great. That's going to be my follow-up question, whether you guys supported continuing education if there was any programs in place.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So yeah, if you have any, if you do get hired, we definitely have that. And anything else before we wrap up?
When would I expect to hear back?
Sure. So what's going to happen is I'm going to document our interview, pass it on to HR, and then within a week you should hear back from us.
Great, I look forward to that.
Yes.
Do you happen to have a business card on
I
that?
do. Here you go.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming.
Look forward to hearing from you soon.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. So any other remarks?
Something that I also do is that like when you first start, you're like really nervous.